All right.
Okay, it's now live. Okay, they will start to come in.
Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for joining our webinar this afternoon. So we'll just wait a bit for some more attendees to join, and we should be starting. We have a question. James, will the session be recorded and will that be sent to them?
Yeah, hi, George. Yeah, the session will be recorded, but we are not allowed to share the session as this is only for audit purpose for the recording.
Okay. All right, we'll start. Are we all good to go, James?
Yes, please go ahead.
All
Thank you.
right. All right. Thanks, James. Thank you, James, and the NTUC Learning Hub for hosting this session. Just want to introduce myself. I'm George Perella. So I'm the ASEAN Training Partner Manager based here in Singapore. I cover training partners across Southeast Asia. So just a brief background of myself, I have almost 20 years experience in the IT industry. I have in the AWS side, I have the following certification. I'm a SA Associate Certified, SysOps, developing, and a cloud practitioner. So hopefully that we can encourage you after this short session to learn more about AWS certification. So today I'll cover about what we covered called machine learning and learn like an Amazonian. So of course, for this topic, we'll probably key and start off with why learn machine learning, especially during this time of the pandemic, and why learn machine learning on cloud computing during this time. We will also learn a bit around what are the current relevant industry data for machine learning and why is it a career for you or for us, or why is it a workload for our organizations to pursue. And we will also learn a bit around what can AWS offer on machine learning, what are the learning paths for you to take to learn about machine learning on AWS, and also what are the offers from NTUC Learning Hub for you to pursue and learn more about machine learning on AWS. Do chat with us on the Q&A. We'll try to get to you as fast as we can. So I'm with James in NTUC Learning Hub, and he'll join me later on to present about the offer from NTUC Learning Hub and likewise help me answer the questions. Okay. So during this time, especially with the pandemic, I just want to share with you a study from Deloitte that they came up, and they surveyed different industries that were ready for COVID-19. And already in 2021, we have seen its impact. And what were the industries that waited the time? So we have seen that there was an impact, especially for F&B, transportation, and education sectors. And there's a segment within industries wherein it waited quite well. It's ready, and likewise, the impact to the industry is not that much, but it's actually growing, especially in ICT, professional services, and financial services. So we in the industry would want to have the demand has to also be increasing. If ever you're coming from the industries that were impacted, you can complement your skills that would help you and increase the demand for jobs, and likewise probably move to these industries. But again, we recommend that you bring this new skill set on cloud computing and machine learning into your industry. This was also a good study that was led by Milio Insight, wherein during the start of the circuit breaker, what were the industries or what were the behavior that changed during this time for the spending behavior of people that are in Singapore. So we have seen that there's a big take up in terms of online groceries, takeaway food, food delivery services, and online shopping. This has increased, but sectors like outdoor entertainment, nightlife, like clubs, overseas travel has declined. But what has been the aid for these organizations to grow? This online groceries, takeaways, and food delivery services are growing because of cloud computing. So they are hosted on the cloud. So these are also uh, applications and workloads that have helped us wade through the time. So we have COVID-19 contact tracing applications. So like in Singapore, we have the Trace Together app. All of us bring our phones, and these are connected to the cloud. You tap on the QR code, we send private, secure data, and for us to contribute through this time. E-commerce sites has also been very helpful for us. By just staying at home, we can have things delivered. We can do our online groceries. We can also do shopping, and we don't need to go out anymore as frequent as we had before. Remote working has been powered because of cloud, and likewise as a remote learning. So we can study from home, we can work from home. Though most of us has gotten back to work, like me, I go to the office at least once a week now. But working from home and studying from home has been not just the new normal, it's the normal right now. And hopefully we would move on to pre-COVID time wherein it's back to the times. But right now, the cloud has enabled this to do so. So right now we're using Zoom for this webinar, and Zoom is hosted on AWS or Amazon Web Services. So machine learning skills is in demand right now in Singapore, and these are just a few data points that the Singapore government have done some pronouncements, some press releases. So for example, there's a 30% increase year on year increase in terms of ICT spend for digitization projects. The National Research Foundation also is investing in the next 5 years around 150 million on AI and ML. Singapore also aims to train 25,000 professionals on basic AI coding and implementation, according to the Deputy Prime Minister. We also had the minister in charge of Smart Nation has said that that Singapore will double down in terms of artificial intelligence. And a study from NTUC Learning Hub states that 1 out of 5 employers deem that AI ML is a skill that's necessary for businesses to stay viable during the COVID-19 and beyond. So I'll also share you as well a new study that was just released 2 weeks ago by NTUC Learning Hub around that would relate to this study. Now, let's take a step back and look at where the world is leading right now. And folks are asking, will I get a job on AI and ML and where it's leading to. If I check right now on the current job post, I don't see the word machine learning. I don't see the positions that I say that I'm a machine learning specialist. So I just sharing with you right now a study by the World Economic Forum on the futures of job 2020. So I'm sharing the URL now. Maybe what I can do is I can share my slides to you and as an email. Then hopefully we can get feedback from you around this presentation. We also have a report from LinkedIn 2020 Emerging Jobs Report. I recommend that you read up on this one, and there's really good points where the futures of jobs and is leading to. So for the World Economic Forum report on futures of jobs, so they've indicated there that 77% of the Singapore population has digital skills, one of the highest in the world. And they have foreseen that AI ML machine learning specialists will be the top two jobs, emerging jobs. And of course, number one is data analysts. We also have digital transformation specialists, big data scientists or specialists, information security analysts, IoT, so DevOps engineer, database professionals. All of this emerging jobs will actually require you to have a baseline understanding of cloud computing. Now, there will be roles that will be impacted as we transition to this. So there will be roles that be redundated, like a data entry clerk, accounting, admin, and executive secretaries. There will be functions that will be automated. That's why there's a risk for these roles. But we don't see this; it will be done tomorrow. It will be in due time. But we need to prepare ourselves and to equip ourselves for these emerging roles. Just want to share as well that there's also projected use of training providers and where do learning comes from and where the response is coming from. So majority of the respondents for the World Economic Forum report states that they still get their training and upskilling from training providers here in Singapore. Though there are resources that you can just use external online training, that either free or partly paid service, we recommend that you look at the training providers like NTUC Learning Hub because they have funding programs for you, which will be discussed by James. Now, on the LinkedIn 2020 Emerging Jobs Report, so in terms of ranking here, the number one emerging job for LinkedIn 2020 report is an artificial intelligence specialist. This would relate to jobs either in the IT industry, higher education, consumer electronics that are hiring these roles. So this also tells us that for these jobs, you would need to have experience on machine deep learning, TensorFlow, Python, and natural language. So for the machine learning pipeline course on AWS, we recommend that you learn Python. Okay, so earlier I said that there's an NTUC just released an insight report around NTUC's industries insight. So it states that where the growth is leading through. Most organizations right now are already investing heavily on resource planning utilization. There's a growth of what 58%. There's also a growth in terms of to lower down the risk of data loss and security, and we have shared some news around that over this week, and provide additional storage space. So most companies right now in Singapore are leaning towards how can they adapt more cloud computing and machine learning. But there are challenges for this. So one is that there's a challenge for relevant in-house IT support, which 67% of respondents said that they lack internal talent or in-house talent. Employees also do not have the relevant skill set to do so. Some would have issues with lack of financial resources because they believe that they might need to spend more for them to adapt to cloud. Some businesses also need cloud computing machine learning. They believe it's not clear to their employees in terms of its value. And there's lack buy-in support from stakeholders from the company at around 30%. So just want to tackle this. If you're right now an individual or you want to learn more, and that there is big demand for machine learning and AI, so most of the companies are stating that there's a shortage for relevant in-house IT support. So what are the measures that these companies have implemented to overcome the shortage of talent in cloud and machine learning? First is their upskilling relevant skill set and roles. So I hope we're happy that you are here today and would love to learn more on how to upskill yourself. And hopefully you can attend our machine learning pipeline course with NTUC Learning Hub. Companies are also rescaling its employees in different skill set or roles. If ever they cannot adapt to machine learning, they might adapt to other things. Maybe they could start off with someone can focus on security, someone can focus on infrastructure, some would really lead towards big data. 37% want to hire local talent. So to close the pressing skills gap, 61% are willing to hire those with no on-the-job experience or no relevant education degrees. So that's why what we're offering right now is we have support for companies that will go to this course, and there's also a training allowance if it's company sponsored or company endorsed individuals. And James can cover that later in terms of that training allowance. Companies are also trying to redesign their workforce and organizations by structuring job roles changes. And there's a 36% are offering attractive remuneration packages for those who are proficient in machine learning. So those that have machine learning skill set, you may not necessarily be an AI specialist now, but most organizations are looking at to retain and to hire and to offer larger compensation for these individuals. So AI skills are prevalent right now, and you might think that you are not using it. Actually, we are already using it. So it's really present for us nowadays. So I'll give you an example in terms of Amazon, since we are discussing about how Amazon has developed machine learning and how we're delivering it to our customers. So we're not delivering it for the sake of developing one, but we're developing for the sake of customer obsession. So this is an example of an Amazon Go store. It's just in the US. This is a checkout-less service. So it's like a convenience store. Think about Cheers or Fair Price Express that we have here in Singapore, or 7-Eleven, but you don't have a cashier. So what you have there is you go inside the store, either you scan the QR code of your account in your phone for your Amazon account and just go in. And on top of the store, there are series of cameras that are tracking, and you can just pick any item. You can place it in a provided bag or your own bag, and it will be in your shopping cart. So you don't need to bring a cart, but there's also carts and baskets. And when you go out of the store, you don't need to go to the cashier, you just leave. And automatically it will be checked out and it will be credited to your account or your Amazon account. So this is an experience wherein it's fast. And I think through the times, especially with COVID-19, more experiences like this will be adopted with ways for us to social distance. All right, but the experience here is for our customers to have best experience wherein they can just easily go in and out of the store. You can also apply machine learning into your work or into your companies immediately by creating better and faster decision making. So this photo here, there are a lot of things that we can place AI and machine learning here. And a good example, like this meeting room has an Amazon Echo device there that can monitor the room. It can book the room. It uses Alexa. We also use QuickSight, so which is our platform to have for you to show reports and you can draw in data from different AWS services. There are also different innovations because of machine learning. So in this case, I'm showing here football, wherein we have image recognition services. So within just photo streams or video streams, we can count people, we can do sentiment analysis, we can already do identification, we can do celebrity matching. In this case, for sports, we can already have stats really fast. We're also for sports. I mean, we are in football, basketball, and so. It also improves business operations. So this is a good example of how machine learning can be implemented in a supply chain or in a warehouse setup. So this is an example of an Amazon fulfillment center. There's videos that we can share as well where AWS services like SageMaker is being used in this instance. So we also used here like this Amazon robotics. This is this orange thing. So instead of the picker going to each of the shelves will move to the picker. And rather that, so it will be fast in terms of delivery. That's why we have 1 hour delivery, 2 hour delivery, and same day delivery because of the services. So because of machine learning, it can cut down operation time. Now, what we believe in AWS is that we have the broadest complete set of machine learning capabilities. We have AI services, we have machine learning services, and with machine learning frameworks and infrastructure. Let me start off with the base form, which is the machine learning frameworks and infrastructure. So say, for example, you have a degree in math, or you have a PhD, or on computer science. This is something that you would enjoy, wherein on the framework level, you can use TensorFlow, MXNet, PyTorch in your usage of AI and ML. But if you're like me, I mean, I am into IT, but I cannot deep dive in this machine learning frameworks, but I'd love to work more on machine learning services first and AI services. So machine learning services are in a service called what we call Amazon SageMaker. So Amazon SageMaker will be the key tool that we will learn from the course that we will be offering with NTUC Learning Hub, which is we will have Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed service for you or for your machine learning workloads. So you can have Jupyter notebooks, you can do experiments, you can have model training, debugger, and so on. But in case that once you learn this, but you are not yet familiar with say Python, or say with machine learning languages, you can also start off with AI services. AI services are things that you can use now. Say, for example, we have services like Amazon recognition. So I said earlier around the photo that you can take off, that it can pick the number of people. And there's also transcribe. So you just get an MP3 file, or then you can already have a transcription of the file. We also have Amazon Translate, so it can translate from different languages. We have really good services, like for example, Amazon Forecast. So wherein it would provide you with forecasting tools similar to what we use internally in Amazon.com. And we have services like with Amazon Connect, which is our fully managed service for contact centers or call centers, wherein the calls that reaches you. So aside from people, when we call contact centers, we hate it when we're talking to robots or bots. But what if there's a once the agent is engaged with you, the bot is also listening at the same time, transcribing and providing the services and making it easy for the chat for the agent to serve you. So all of these services are quite broad. So what we offer on the machine learning and pipeline course is a focus on machine learning services, to this one. But we will also have a lot of free online training on AI services that are available on the aws.training website. All right, so trying to bring it back home here in Singapore. So how can this be applied? So there are organizations said earlier that they're trying to upskill their own employees on machine learning. So an example is DBS. So they feel that they want to train and future-proof their employees or their workforce and to get them ready with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So this is an example when they adapted a program within Amazon called in AWS called the Deep Racer League, wherein using the Deep Racer, which is a autonomous scaled car, and to use it on onto a track and try to for self-driving cars. So this is a good way for to use SageMaker and an application for this. So you'll be asking, what's a bank trying to do with self-driving cars? Well, they're not trying to sell cars just now, but what we're trying to do is build the skills for AI and machine learning. So you will have other services for the FSI sector. So how do you start off and why AWS for a career in machine learning? So on an average in Asia Pacific, um, each AWS certified individual normally takes about 72,000 annual pay on if you're AWS certified. Professionals with AWS certification earn 11% more than folks without AWS certification. And also for cloud salaries are normally, or for jobs that are related to cloud, are 29% more than the global average. So I just want to get a quote from Benjamin Allen here, who works at IDXX here in Singapore. He said that I highly recommend that you're looking to advance your career, you take AWS certification. It validates the most popular cloud technology skills today. It can also help you make more money and get some newer opportunities. Okay, so it's time to train now. So how do we get started? First is we can start off with digital training. So we have about 500 plus free videos on our website, AWS at Training. It would start off for 30-minute videos to even 12-minute courses for you to finish, and it's for free. Now you can also join Classroom, either virtual training. That's what we're offering with NTUC Learning Hub. So for you to take in a rigid 1-day or 4-day course. So what we're offering is a 4-day course with a machine learning pipeline on AWS. For AWS if once you're ready, you can also take AWS certification to validate your understanding and your competency on the subject matter. So these are our AWS certifications. So we have foundational foundational certification, which is the AWS Cloud Practitioner. So if ever you don't have any experience on the cloud, so for those that are joining in the call, that you don't have any experience on cloud computing or less than 6 months, we highly recommend that you look out this Cloud Practitioner course. We have a 1-day course class. We also have an online course for this one, and you can take the certification. We also have associate courses, operations, and developer. There's a big demand, especially here in Singapore, if ever you have an SA associate certification. Even I bet you if you get their certification, even us at Amazon will call, our recruiters will call you because we in need of more solution architects. So you can start off with this. And for professional certification, we have SA Professional and DevOps Professional. So for machine learning, we have a machine learning specialty that you can take. And there's also other specialty certifications like advanced networking, security, data analytics, and database. Now, here's a path for you to take. So for those that just started and want to learn more about the cloud before diving deep on machine learning, I place this side because majority of those who take this webinar, probably this is already our 5th run for this webinar. Most that don't have machine learning experience, just want to start off, want to learn, please try to look out the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner track. So this is our ramp up guide. So take our Cloud Practitioner Essentials course and you can pursue a certification on Cloud Practitioner. Now, for those who want to attend our machine learning course for the 4-day course, we recommend this free courses that you can take to prepare for that 4-day course. We have a 6-hour on-demand course on Cloud Practitioner Essentials. It's 6 hours. You can also take it as you go. You don't need to take it at one time. We also have machine learning basics. So it's a 2-hour on-demand course. Either you pick on business or technology use cases. For those that don't have coding skills, you can actually learn to code on AWS. We have a self-paced online workshop. So it's learn-to-code.workshop.aws. For those that may not have background on math or want to sharpen on their math skills to apply for machine learning, we have an 8-hour on-demand free course on supplementary math basics. But of course, if ever you had already a math degree in uni or you have a postgraduate degree, this might not be required. But this can be a good way for you to prepare. So for all of these free courses, we will provide certificates of completions if you complete the course on our website. So again, it's an aws.training. So here's a path for you to take in order for you to take the machine learning course. So you can take the data science course. These are all free online from AWS training. The only thing that you need to that are classroom classes or virtual classroom classes are this one, the practical data science on SageMaker. But if ever you can go straight to this one, you can, as long as you have a background on Python, you have an understanding on cloud services. So that's why we recommend that you take the cloud practitioner essentials course. Once you pursue this, you could also a path for you to take a certification on machine learning specialty. This one is a separate fee. So you can take this on your own after taking the machine learning pipeline on AWS. Okay, so for next steps, before I turn it over to James, we need to identify different roles depending on your role and depending on where you want to lead your career to. Please pick a learning path for you to take. So just go to aws.training. You could also reach out to our AWS training certification team. You send it over to me, and you can ask if you have some questions, and you can also ask your advisor from NTUC Learning Hub, and pursue an AWS certification when you're ready. All right. So I'll turn it over to James. James, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, hi, George. Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. I guess you guys are very interested in this course, and thank you, George, for giving just such a great presentation, right? George, I also actually just share with you the PowerPoint slides. If you
Sure.
can help to project them.
Okay, Ken.
So we have been running the last 5 classes for the AWS pipeline. Um, Overall, I think in this unprecedented times, the the notion of cloud compute and machine learning has become way more relevant today. And so I'll quickly deep dive into the course details. Okay, if you can move on to the next slide. Okay, so the AWS learning machine learning pipeline, it's 30 hours duration. It's a 4-day course, and this course is intended for um, people like developers, data engineers, anyone with some experience in machine learning and wants to learn about machine learning using Amazon SageMaker. Um, the prerequisites is that upon applying for this course, we will give you a 6 hours free training for the AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials. This CPE course is free of charge, and we recommend you to take 1 week prior to the actual class start. Okay, and in terms of the other requirements is if you have some basic knowledge of Python and AWS cloud infrastructure. Okay, next slide, please. So in terms of the course fee, the full course fee is 3,004 before GST. With GST is 3,638. And because it is 95% funded by IBF, for Singaporeans and permanent residents, you only need to pay $181.90. Okay, so this is a very good opportunity for you to learn about AWS machine learning, and given this funding that is provided by the government, it's a real opportunity for you to upgrade yourself in terms of machine learning. Okay, next page. Okay, so in terms of the class availability, we have a couple of classes in March and April. So the one that's happening in March will be from the 15th of March to 18th of March. And of course, our trainer is from AWS. His name is Vikesh. He has been running our classes the past few runs and has been very successful. So the next step is when you go into our website, which I'll share with you in the next slide. Maybe you can move to the next slide. George, thanks. So this is the URL for the website for you to register. Let me also share this on screen. Oh, sorry, on the chat. Okay, let me just share it with you guys on chat. Okay, so I've sent the web link for you guys to register. So once you click on to the website, you'll see that we have a nice web page for AWS. If you go to the next page, George. All right, so once you land yourself on the page, there is a reserve a spot button. Just click on it, and then it will move to the next tab, which is on the next page. Yeah, there you go. So once you have clicked on reserve a spot, there are a couple of simple process that you need to do. The first is the checklist, where you register as a self-sponsored individual or a company-sponsored trainee. Okay, so either one, when you have selected, then you can start to reserve the class dates. and then we'll move on to the billing advice, and then followed by the payment and acknowledgement. So the good news is that the course is eligible for SkillsFuture credit and UTAP as well. So each Singaporean individual has a $500 SkillsFuture credit and another $500 SkillsFuture credit. So you can utilize the SkillsFuture credit to to offset the amount that you need to pay for. So maybe I think there's some background noise on my side. So sorry. Um, what I can do is maybe George, you can show the screen for the class dates, and then
Okay.
maybe I'll just mute myself, and then we will just leave the room for Q&A session. Okay, just feel free to ask questions.
Okay. All right. So I think I can answer. I answered some already on the chat. So let me cover that. So most of the questions were you want to you want to get a copy of the slides. So after this call, I'll share the link, a download link to James, and we can email everyone that registered to this webinar where to download the slides that I presented today so that you can get it. Okay. Maybe I can also cover some of the questions that I answered already. So any certification after to complete the course. Okay, so the certification of completion will be provided if you complete the 4-day course. It will be on your profile on aws.training. If you want to get the machine learning specialty certification, you have to take the exam to do so. So it's a separate expense. You can go to AWS training as well to book a certification exam for you. So it's not included in the IBF funded course. It's about $300 US dollars for the exam fee for that one. Right. So a question was, I'm not familiar. I love machine learning, but I'm weak in math. So can I seek the machine learning course? Yes, for sure. So first, start off with the Cloud Practitioner Essentials course. We have a free course on that one. Also, try to look for the AI services that I mentioned earlier. So, like I said about Amazon Transcribe, Amazon Recognition, those were AI services that you don't need to code or you don't need math. You just need to know logic behind it. Okay. I think there was a question around how much is the cost. So I think we have what was answered already by James already. Is the course directly from AWS? Yes, so the delivery will be by Vikash, right? So he's an it's an AWS instructor. He's one of our instructors for Amazon Web Services based here in Singapore. All right. So, all right. Any more questions? So. What are the pre-skills that are needed to join this course? So you need to go to the Cloud Practitioner Essentials course so that you have a background on cloud computing. You also need to have some background on Python coding and some understanding on Jupyter Notebooks. So that will be very helpful. Is AWS machine learning certification recognized and be applicable to use in other organizations? So the certification for AWS, we have a lot of companies that are looking for that skill set already. So it's widely accepted. It's an industry standard. It's a globally industry accepted. So even if you move to another country or you will be outsourced for services, AWS machine learning certification is widely recognized. All right, so just a question. You mentioned Python as one of the important coding for AWS. How about Tableau? All right. So Tableau is a presentation data presentation tool. So of course, it's a good tool for data presentation. So but for the machine learning on AWS course, since you will be working with SageMaker and you will be presented with placing code into the SageMaker Studio, Python is one of the languages that are accepted or used for that service. Is it an online or classroom class? So it's a online. All right. So right now, since we are following restrictions on for social distancing, so we are presenting this as an online virtual class. All the attendees are in Singapore, but we limit the size of the class. So our normal size class size is around 10 to 15 so that the trainer can have better engagement with the students and learners during the class. So right now we deliver it through Zoom and it's being hosted by NTUC Learning Hub. Is exam voucher included? So no, exam vouchers are not included in this course, um, but you can buy it separately. AWS machines, okay. So any exam, all right. Is there any exam? I think there is a check your understanding regularly during the course of the 4-day course, and there's a short exam following at the end of the course for qualification. And maybe James, you can say that this is a requirement for IBF, right?
Oh, yes, yes. Good question. So for IVF courses, the attendance has to be 100%, and questions will be in multiple choice question MCQ, and you need to have a 100%, sorry, 70% passing mark. So in the event that of course if you are unable to make that 70%, then of course our trainers will do the oral recovery. Okay.
All right. All right. So next would be how about those with no prior experience? So you can start off again, as I said earlier, around try the Cloud Practitioner Essentials. It's you can I will share the for those who register their email addresses. We'll send a link where to download my slides, and you'll have the link there. But you can just search for AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials. You can start there, build your competency. We have, and you can also start learning Python. We have Learn to Code workshop. This is a free course on AWS. Also, NTUC Learning Hub offers courses also in Python. So it's not offered as AWS, but you can take that course with NTUC Learning Hub. Can a non-IT person go for this? Of course. I mean, if you have a domain knowledge, say in financial sector or on oil and gas, and you develop a skill set on machine learning, you'll be very valuable in the industry. So as long as you prepare for the prerequisites, build up your skill set on cloud computing and Python, that will be very helpful. To start AWS, I need to start with Python, right? Well, not necessarily. AWS, you don't need to, for you to learn AWS, for example, create a website, say, host a website, create a mobile app. You don't need to learn Python for AWS. Just for this course, for the machine learning pipeline course, that's why Python is required. But for the rest of the services on Amazon Web Services, say, for example, earlier, one of our attendees said that you're good in in Tableau. So you can use your expertise in Tableau in other Amazon Web Services like QuickSight that I shared earlier. Do I need to have a strong programming skill? No, just an understanding on Python will be helpful because during the course, we will be creating pre-created labs that the code will be there. Of course, you need to understand what the code is saying and then what it's for, but it's already pre-created. So the lab sessions should be created for you. So you don't need to start from scratch. So that's why we said just an understanding will be enough. for you to go through this course. Can I directly take up data science job after the certification? Sure. I mean, there are roles right now that are requiring associate roles for data scientists. Even internally within AWS, in Amazon, we have roles like that that would require associate degrees, as associate roles. And the study that I showed you earlier from NTUC Learning Hub states that companies, rather than try to look for talent, hire foreign talent, they would rather hire local talent, and with even with no on-the-job training, and try to build up the skill set of the individual. Um, can I enroll? I can enroll 27-4 courses. Please provide link to register. I think so. The link was provided by James. Maybe James can put that in the chat again for the link. But again, these are what you see on the screen right now are the schedule that's available for March, April, and if ever you're ready, please sign up and reach out to NTC Learning Hub to register for these courses. All right, can I just give a link of free lessons mentioned? Okay, yeah, sure. For the free lessons, after the end of this course, for those the email addresses that registered here, we will send a link where to download my slides so they can get those links for those free courses. And those free courses have certificates once you complete those. Any internship, traineeship available after completing the course? Not yet, we're working on it. So thanks for the question. So we're working on it right now. I don't have an experience in Python. Would you recommend for me in order to prepare for the course? Yeah. So we have that Learn to Code workshop that we have online. So it may take you a week or two to prepare yourself, just for have an understanding on Python. And that would be ready for you to take the course. There's a question here. Can I claim through UTAP? James, maybe you can answer this one. Can I claim through
Yeah.
UTAP? Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely you can claim through UTEP. Can.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I think the prerequisites, the question here is around, do you have any prerequisites eligible for the course? I said earlier, Cloud Practitioner Essentials, Python is an understanding on Python on Jupyter Notebooks. So this course comes with the exam that is required for IBF. So there's an exam after for you to complete the course. It's not a certification exam for machine learning on AWS. Again, it's available for Singaporeans and PR. So what industries is machine learning skill widely used? Yeah, so those industries that are in FSI, e-commerce. So we have IT, ICT are those that are high demand for machine learning. All job real world hands-on experience. How can we get through this course? Okay, so definitely through this course, you can start building your own data sets and so on. You could also we could also recommend some of our user groups for you to have real world experiences through our user group. So we have a user group here in Singapore that you can join. So just search up for AWS user group. I have a Six Sigma black belt and lean certification. How could machine learning help? Oh, sure. So again, I said earlier, those that were already with you have skill set already in your current domain, either industry or your role. Machine learning is an additional skill set or complementary for you. We believe that the new world of work coming from the studies that I presented earlier, not just from NTU Learning Hub. We have studies from the World Economic Forum, from LinkedIn, that AI specialist roles will be in demand. So you can apply this in, say, in manufacturing, you can apply this in, say, in transportation, you can apply this in the education sector. So what all these are just base for you to expand your career. Is the all right? So is the certificate for free courses recognized by other companies than AWS? The free courses, no, it's just an AWS certification that you completed it. It will be useful for yourself and for other organizations, but not sure if it can be used for other organization. Do you have weekend courses? Good question. Currently, right now, we only have weekday classes. We are last year we had weekend classes. It's just the availability of our trainer. So we'll let you know. Please continue to look at the schedule of NTUC Learning Hub for them to offer weekend courses. We'll try to bring it back similar to what we did last year. Are there any use cases of machine learning in EdTech? Yes, for sure. So, especially for in the world right now of online learning, so machine learning can be used. Say, for example, machine learning in terms of delivering new deliveries or pedagogies of learning. So, say, for example, um, 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 this one is it's a good example. Say, for example, online proctoring. So now that all of us are working from home, are learning from home, you can use webcams like this one, and it can analyze based on if you are looking somewhere else or you're talking to someone. It will say that what's your concentration into taking an exam or taking an online course. So again, that's an example of machine learning for that. So you can use a service called Amazon Recognition for that. We have a customer that uses that for their online proctored exams using machine learning. For coding, do we need to do both JavaScript and Python? Well, good. So if ever you know both JavaScript and Python, that will be good. But at least Python will be good for this course. But JavaScript, we use it for AWS. So if we're using AWS on our CLI, our command line interface, we use a JavaScript native language or JSON for AWS. Right, we're just finishing off the questions before we end by 6. So is the curriculum enough to pass the machine learning specialty exam? Good question. In any of our machine learning exams, in any of our certification exams, by just going through the course, it's not enough for you to pass the exam. So you need to practice it. Since our certification exams would ask you on best use case scenarios and what would be a better way to use the services. So again, practice is the best option for you after going through a course. Use it. You could also use additional training references as well. Read up on our FAQs white paper. Some of the questions on our air certification exams are on those white paper. All right. So next, I'm a business management. All right. So what's the difference between AI and ML? So AI. Okay. So AI is a subset of machine learning. Right. Oh, sorry. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So I am a business management consultant. How will deep learning help me? All right. Sorry, machine learning help me. So again, so you can start off by offering your services as a business management consultant. We have tools that you can use. Say, for example, there are AI services that I mentioned earlier. You don't need, if you don't want to code, you will use a services. Say, for example, we have services like AWS Transcribe. So we have a good use case. We have a medical consultant. Say, for example, you get MP3 files of the transcription, but you can push it out into text files. Vice versa, you can use this also for different business management applications. So I mean, there's limitless possibilities for you to do so. In your opinion, what is the AI impact in domination in industry in the next 5 years? So yeah, sure. That World Economic Forum paper has really gave us a good study as well. We believe that there will be at least 10 times growth in terms of machine learning in the industry and how it will impact right now. So I suggest the slides that I shared earlier. We will also have the links for those studies as well. So please download. You can download those technical white papers. All right. All right. So nice. Now, what does AWS stand for? Amazon Web Services. I only have Microsoft Office certification. What is the recommended pathway to machine learning? So start off with Cloud Practitioner Essentials, complete it. Then take the Learn to Code, Site to Code Python, and get there. We have courses there for you to have machine learning best case and use cases on those four courses that free courses that I mentioned to you for you to ramp up for yourself. Okay, so as we're about 6 o'clock already, anything that you want to add, James?
Not for me. I think most of the questions that the participants have asked, we have answered them. So it's been a good webinar with very interactive conversations, and of course the PowerPoint slides we will share them with the attendees.
Okay, sure. I'll share the link. Then you can share it via email. And
Yeah.
hopefully, please, if you can, you're invited to join these courses that you see in the screen for March and our April courses.
Yep.
Okay, hopefully
Okay.
to see most of you, some of you guys join those classes soon.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. We hope you have a great evening and hope to see you soon and be healthy and be safe.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.